I mean, you say
with.
what to do with him. There's a simple solution. Just put him back in the pod and make it someone else's problem.
It seems likely that's what somebody did to put to for him to end up on your ship in the first place. And it's also as likely that while they were doing it, they said no take backsies, so you can't. Nothing. Not even a chuckle. Not even a groan. Come on.
We're observing good mic discipline.
So, oh, that was one thing that got sacrificed. Your token is made, Aura. I just haven't added it yet. So,
Okay.
steps have been made. Progress.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have that fairly detailed report in front of you. Kind of gives you a overview of what's happening with the Raza being sued, and what has come of or is coming of the data and material that you brought back. And due to the impending legal action, you've been informed that missions are delayed at this moment. So you have basically some free time. Free time that an indeterminate free time that you haven't really had before. It was always we're lifting off in a week, do what you need to do, or something like that. So this is your guys' time. Is there anything in particular that anyone wants to get done?
I mean, I guess tend to our new compatriot and be like up there, then try to persuade him that, hey, look, we're psychic buddies. You can use my chair, I swear. And then probably number 3 is actually get the chair fixed.
Are you going to get the chair fixed through official channels where someone might recognize the chair and say, hey, this doesn't belong with you?
Of course it belongs with me.
So you are going to try through official channels?
No, of course not. I'm not that stupid. But it's mine.
He's just not getting interested in getting in the chair until the problems are resolved, and he can tell there are problems.
Nah, it's totally fine. Like getting flung out the chair every week. I don't know.
I don't exactly know how to describe what insincerity feels like from a telepathic perspective, but Izzy knows it when he sees it.
It's like the mental equivalent of eating food that is almost but not quite spoiled.
Oh. That's not actually really an image, though, is it?
Yikes. I don't know. I actually had a bad kiwi the other day that was, I think, not ripe yet, and there's a distinct difference. I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Let's go with that.
I get it. It's just it's not the kind of thing that you can say, well, that's an image. It's not. It's something
a
else.
sensation.
Yeah, there you go.
With enough synesthesia, anything can be an image.
Oh, there you go.
No, that's what Marcus wants to try and get done.
Okay. Marcus is going to try and engage Izya in chair shenanigans and get it repaired.
Again, until the order swaps, Izzy is not going to be engaged in chair shenanigans.
Might get adjusted after a day then. Swap them around.
Okay, got it. What would Amaya like to get up to in this time?
Well, I did say that I was going to sweatshop a few more
Right.
headsets, so I'd be looking around for parts for those.
Okay.
And I guess I'd also be polling for volunteers to test it out.
Okay. Great. Ookie, have any particular plans?
I've got a few scenes that you know that I want.
Mhm.
Given that it's come up in the mission report, I think that doing the flashback scene with Armstrong would be the thing that I most want to do first. Talking about the report to mandate about the sapient life on Anti.
Okay. Fantastic. And Aura, Izja.
Izya is deep in the compad that was recovered from the Yet to Come, which was apparently the name of his ship, trying to figure out what he can about where he's been and who he knows. Mostly just that. He hasn't got outside much, hardly at all even.
Okay. Does he avail himself of any of the facilities or various specialties available at this highly unusual military outpost?
He's mostly trying to figure out what is available rather than trying to do much of anything. His primary interest is in figuring out how in the world he ended up here.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a fantastic place to start because it lets me put on the air some of the things that have been occurring around Dry Sun. Now, before I get into this, I will ask, were all of you able to take probably like 10 minutes to read the report I wrote? I lied. It's probably more like 3 to 4 minutes, but...
I might hypothetically have opened it only 5 minutes ago, but I'm the one who at least needs to have read it.
That is very true.
I've read it and commented on it.
You have. And I know that Ben also commented on the seeds, and Knox on the eyewear. So perfect. So I call this a very strange military outpost because it's a military outpost with a research focus, a number of refugees and stragglers that are being adopted from other places, including elsewhere on Kamiego, and is building a community. It's what any outpost on a new planet probably hopes to become, but this isn't a new planet, and there's a lot of focus on research. This outpost or growing city is certainly among the, if not the most well-armed city on Kamiego. Most of the other cities, although this one doesn't have full walls yet, most of the other cities will have wooden walls. Actually, not even wooden walls. Sorry, I forgot. Wood scarfs here. Clay walls, and only barely high enough that someone can't just easily climb over them. If they have the least bit of climbing ability, they'll find cracks in that clay, and if they bring a 2-foot step stool, they'll be able to lift themselves up over most of the walls. That is assuming they don't get shredded by the various heavy machine guns or the occasional, the very rare railgun posted on a turret in a high tower. Those are the most well-defended cities on Kamiego. And then you've got Dry Sun, which has towers made of not instapanel, but the instapanel material, actual fabricated plastics and support structure, dedicated building material for things like that. And on those panels, you've got Hydra arrays and railguns in different towers. Obviously, you wouldn't want to lose both, from one good sabotage. And a veritable cadre of attack vehicles. There are ATVs, at least a half dozen, that are fully equipped with powerful heavy weapons, and there are just simple jeeps that have they can actually attach a regular weapon to them, but they have weapons attached to them. Raza has taken defense of this location very seriously, um, and that safety and comfort is giving them more comfort and freedom to undergo massive construction projects like you're seeing, attempting to enclose the entire city in walls and a roof, essentially turning the city into an indoor mall. An open air indoor mall at that. You've got the arcade, of course, where the Delta-Rain kids, the Razagers, as they call themselves, continue playing the propaganda and working the Delta-Rain servers. And you've got a school that's just recently been constructed for essentially a handful of kids and a several handfuls of adults. And at the center of all that, entertaining people, is the theater. Is just finished a run of Sunset Mirage, and with the arrival of some bro, just kind of trickling over to help Raza, the theater has started playing a Rattlesnake and Hedgehog. Or was it Hedgehog and Rattlesnake? Saraplast, thank you. I can't remember the order of it, and probably nobody else can either. So it's one or the other. There are
I wonder what
ample.
mysterious person donated all those episodes of Sunset Mirage.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever know. Oh, whoops! You weren't supposed to see the that Harry and Armstrong rolled a 15. I was supposed to erase that, but that's fine.
I mean, what kind of plus did they get from the previous impression from Oogie, if at all?
I didn't give them a mechanical bonus for that. I just factored it into the reading of the result.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they legit rolled that high. I think that ended up being a 6 and a 6. And that was on
Very
a
nice.
second roll, I believe, because you guys gave them a second roll.
I was cool that this did so well.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a new number of engineering and scientific minds that Izya could avail himself of if he wanted to. And that silence means that I'm going to ask you, how far along has Izya gotten into his compad?
Pretty,
Is it
but unfortunately, like I said, it belonged to the ship, not to him.
Okay.
So there's a lot of detail about various cargoes the yet to come had taken on, delivered, that kind of thing. It's pretty evident at this point that mostly what they were doing was shipping very expensive things between Lamiera and buyers.
Okay. All right.
It's not the only thing they ever did, but it's the majority of what they had been doing up until about a year ago, when
Where's
the data runs
Lamiera?
out.
Lamiera is our trade hub at the center-ish on 0405.
It's in the March system.
Yeah.
Here we
Let's
are.
pull up the map again.
It's also a significant minority, let's call it, of jobs from Phaeton to rich people. There are a lot of addresses in there that anybody who's familiar with the megacorps might be able to do something with. But Izzy is not familiar enough because, after all, he doesn't really remember any of it.
All right. Does he just order in? There is a food delivery service for the mission teams.
Yeah, wherever they put him, he stays in there almost entirely.
All right.
That's where LaRue is located, right?
It is.
What's his first name again?
Cassian.
Castian LaRue. Thank you.
Right.
It's really obvious, especially if anybody tries to get him to go outside the indoor mall. Izzy does not want to.
We're finally going to get to go do Daddy Warbucks.
Keep open. It's cute.
Yeah, I was gonna
Well, I mean,
say.
he did get promoted for that. If the party's gonna die, this is as good a place as any.
I say that because I think that has been the reaction every mission turn so far. And it has been entertaining how it's gotten pushed back and back.
my drama sense is so keenly tuned. I'm like, this is where the drama is.
It'll be a laugh. It'll be a laugh.
Yep.
If we eventually get there, we might die in this interim.
I think it's possible, yeah.
I mean, if we say that we're going to go do Daddy Warbucks, then Zoe will certainly kill us during this interim.
Maybe.
All right. Tulair, I have a terrible memory, so why don't you give me a little bit of lead-in to what Oogie is wanting to do with Armstrong? We'll say that the other ship, which I don't think ever got named, the other ship has returned about a day after you guys, and although they're given the same kind of go ahead and settle in, relax, Armstrong is not very comfortable with just settling and relaxing. Armstrong is anxious and is out of sorts with the just do whatever command.
So clarification, because you had included in the
we were doing
mission
a flashback. My
yeah,
bad.
I meant that to be a flashback because Oogie would have asked Armstrong about that when we were back on Un. It just the timing wasn't good for it last session.
Right. Yeah, no problem. And so what was it in the mission report?
That you had mentioned that let me find it here. Operation just I guess one of the bonuses that discover and report the galactic mandate, sapient life on Anti.
Yes.
The scientific community can't get enough of this. It's drawing new eyes to our more important work +1 support. So we've already ostensibly gotten the bonus for that.
Right. However, if you guys decide to go a different direction than that, then I can adjust that accordingly. I just didn't want to leave too many things to be determined, and I wanted to actually put in all the various things that you did which were bonus worthy. So that can be retconned if our flashback changes how you approach it.
Okay, and that's the most likely outcome, but I thought that there was some rich roleplay there. I kind of want to know more about what this sector, what their thoughts, what their approach to new sapient life is going to be. Oogie was kind of freaked out at the legal ramifications of this discovery.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a fun flashback, and I did forget it was a flashback even after saying flashback in starting this up. Who on the marmoset would you like to be involved or would like to be involved?
Trying to think about our mission, our specialist crew. I don't know who among them. I guess Marcus is the most likely, just because he's got the biology background.
I was gonna say, I'm down.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I think you broke up there.
It is just to say Marcus would be down for that.
Okay. I'm gonna put you guys both over there.
So I'm in the camp of pro releasing the information to mandate. Is there anybody in the group who would be anti releasing the information to mandate?
Before you all answer that, let me just check real quick. Nox, do you want Amaya to be involved in that also? Just in the
Not
conversation.
her area of expertise. She doesn't care.
Okay. This is at a point.
That being said,
Mhm.
Doodle-doo-doo. Amaya is pro information for us and not for others at this point.
Okay. So why don't we include Amaya in that conversation? This was back on Directory Station when you had a chance to sit down and talk with Harry and Armstrong. Harry has gone off to attend some matters while Armstrong was kind of held back so that you guys could kind of utilize their expertise and their history with Galactic Mandate. So it's you three and Armstrong discussing this, or at least present in the discussion. And I think that also answers your question about who would be pro and against. Blair?
Yeah, so that we have some conflict in the scene. So Oogie's gonna kind of buttonhole Armstrong, tap them on the shoulder, have the report up on the data slab. Hey Armstrong, hey, I got something important I need to discuss with you.
At this stage, Harry looks over at the two of you, and he says, "Well, I'll go do that thing that I've got to do." And he leaves.
Thanks, Harry. Sorry to interrupt. Kind of urgent.
No problem. And Armstrong watches him go off and then looks over at the data slab. What is this?
When we were over on Annie, we encountered a species of critter that, by my marks, I suspect is a new sapient life form. And I'm a little bit spooked by this, right? We got to submit a report of that or something. I was hoping for some advice.
About what?
I mean, did I include all the right details? Am I gonna get Raza in trouble? You know, just making sure I got my T's crossed and my I's dotted, if you know what I mean.
Armstrong nods and takes the offered data slab. As they scan through it, you see their eyes race across the data slab and dart back, and then race across and dart back. And it's clear, even on their impassive face, that they are mentally marking places where you did something wrong. At least, you know, according to how they want reports written. And
Oogie writes more formally than he speaks, but there's still a certain colloquialism to his writing style.
And I mean, Armstrong has years of experience with Galactic Mandate and has difficulty adjusting and changing things. So it's entirely likely that whatever conventions Raza has set for forms and reports, that Armstrong is still stuck a bit on Galactic Mandate. And so they finish reading it pretty quickly, and then go back through a second time backwards and just kind of put a little marker in places where, where Armstrong feels like there's comment to be made, and then hands it back to Oogie. And Armstrong begins by citing galactic mandate law about the discovery of sapient species on uninhabited and unclaimed worlds. And the law for that is, as we kind of briefly discussed during that session, that galactic mandate will take over conservatorship of that planet and species, and basically protect it as a kind of, we're the good guys, and we're going to protect this growing civilization code.
Isn't this planet like claimed though?
It is.
So that doesn't apply.
It belongs to the Anteans.
Would Amaya like to make that point to Armstrong?
Yep. It's an owned planet, so that doesn't apply.
The Anteans have abandoned it. There is no form of government here to rule.
Well, if Amaya thinks it's in dispute, I mean, I'm sure that some others, maybe from less altruistic reasons, are going to claim that it's in dispute. How's that decided?
Galactic mandate would hold trial if everyone acts within the law.
That wouldn't be a trial in good faith, considering they stand to gain a planet over it.
Who? Galactic mandate?
Yeah.
Armstrong shakes their head. It's all a net loss to Galactic Mandate. There's nothing gained. They won't mine it. They won't utilize its resources. They just maintain a cursory fleet that tries to prevent anyone else from landing on the planet. The ill intent is anyone else that tries to claim the planet. Your most likely villain here is going to be Mercure Corps.
Well, let's say, for example, that Mercure can claim that they retain ownership of the planet. This species was probably there before they abandoned it, but I don't reckon you can prove that. So, I mean, what happens if Mercure owns the planet and it's got sapient life on it? What happens to them?
According to Commander Rao's research and theorizations, Mercure Corps will experiment on them.
Would that be legal if they own the planet?
Only if they can prove they're not sapient. Which they probably will.
Oh no, I ain't going for this. That sounds like slavery to me, and I'm not cool with that.
I mean, yeah, things are kind of fucked up.
So what do we do with this report here, Armstrong, to make sure that it makes the strongest possible case for these critters being sapient life, and then get that declared before Mercure can get their fingers in the mix?
Um. Well.
You were going to say something, Knox?
Thinking.
Okay. I'll give you a moment.
Because if nobody says anything, everything stays the same. I'm not for really any megacorp taking control of the planet.
Galactic Mandate isn't a megacorp.
Is Galactic? I assume that they were. That's
No,
my
no,
mistake.
no. Maya's right. You're right. Armstrong is very wrong.
No, it is. Like,
Galactic Mandate is a sector-wide police force. There is no profit in that.
No profit in policing, they say. Oh, poor naive Armstrong.
Pay us protection money, or else.
aside from that, being explicitly wrong, they stand to benefit from whatever research they can get out of this planet if it is evolving its own form of life, and eventually, long term, once they have a documented species that is able to join the workforce, they just have claim over that entire race.
So, Maya, are you saying you think it would be better for them critters, the stride beasts, if we was to leave this whole thing a secret?
I mean, for now, yeah.
Mercure will find out.
Unless you intend to mobilize the Raza to protect it that way, but I don't think that that's worth it for us either.
Oogie's face darkens at that suggestion. You know that it would just be Dr. Jai Rao experimenting on him in that case.
At the very least, Dr. Rao isn't turning them into zombies.
That we know of.
No, I take your point.
I mean, it's one of them. Someone's going to try and take advantage no matter what. That's just the way the universe works, I guess.
Even if
Everyone's always edging for that something more. And if they see a way to gain something more, they'll do all they can to make it happen.
even if what you say about Galactic Mandate is true, that it is a corporation, it's still the safest and most noble.
Any company that strives towards profits, which is usually what megacorps are, doesn't have the best interest of people in mind. Because kindness doesn't keep the lights on.
Armstrong's
get your
face
favors.
buttons up.
I think Armstrong's right, though, that if we don't release this information to Galactic Mandate, it's only a matter of time before Mercury Corp figures it out for themselves.
Have you
See,
told
that I
anyone
agree
else? Sorry,
mean-
spoke over you, Ben, but I heard what you said.
I was just going to say, I mean, who else would we really confide in, really, about all this? Like,
If
who can we really trust that'll keep the best interests in heart?
now remind me, Did you talk about it at all with Guy Kilson?
No, we did not.
I was going to say I don't think we have.
Hmm.
I'm not sure on that. I'm inclined to say no.
Okay. I legitimately couldn't remember either. so don't take my mean as any kind of indication of anything.
Because we discovered
Go on.
them on
Hands
the
right
way
in.
out.
What?
We discovered them on the way out to Corin Road, and they were among one of several things that we didn't want getting back to Mercure,
Mhm.
and therefore, on the basis that we assumed that Mercure was at least nominally backing Frostlight, we didn't share anything sensitive with Frostlight after that point.
Okay.
Hands
Well,
right
then.
in. Tell us where the Darkstar crew fucked up and win a no prize. Dexter will be mad at you.
I mean, it's one of them Makira will definitely still have interest after everything they fucked up because it's still information for him.
With the amount of data that you haven't gotten this information yet. Right. This is a flashback. Your characters don't know what has been discovered on those servers yet.
No, I just have fucked up rat things and just things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you.
The Mercure servers. I thought you meant the Nox server. Yeah, you're right. We don't know.
Yeah. Now you've got every reason to suspect that Mercure it does still have an interest because of the fucked up rat things, and maybe even because of the zombies. But as far as any of that confirmation goes, you've got none of it yet. Oh.
Well,
Oh,
here's my take.
I will say that.
Go ahead, Nox.
Sorry. I will say that their stance on it is that, as far as our job goes, we bring it to Dr. Rao, and then if he thinks that it's interesting enough to pursue, then it becomes our job again.
Yeah, I think I'm only okay with that if we think that Raz is going to take better care of these critters than Galactic Mandate would. I'm kind of leaning towards giving the information a Mandate and hoping that they're the best choice to do the right thing.
Armstrong speaks up again. Raza doesn't have the resources. Galactic Mandate does.
Yeah, that I do agree with. I mean, like, I don't even think we could be able to do anything apart from just provide information. And definitely don't want Makira to, I say, get wind of this before Mandate do. Just in case they try to position themselves differently.
Oh, heck. I don't think these critters have a good chance no matter who we talk to, but I think they got the best chance if we give the information a Mandate.
On the outset, if we bring the information to Mandate, Mandate comes in to claim it, Mercury Corp is already set up there. The legal battle would happen anyways, and they might just take control of it then as well. At least now it's an unknown quantity to them, at least.
Armstrong, in the silence, takes Oogie's slab back from him, and where they had made those little reminder marks, starts going through and creating actual comment notes, reminder marks and actually starts making comments there of what Oogie should change. And they more or less tune out the silence and whatever follows from this. Where do you three stand?
I mean, yeah, Marcus just swears towards telling Mandate, really, because there's not many better choices. Yeah.
And I believe Amaya's position is to say nothing and let it play out until one of the corporations discovers and or makes a move. Is that about accurate?
Nearly. It's let the people, let the faction heads know. So let the Raza know,
Mm-hmm.
but otherwise keep it a secret.
Okay. And Oogie.
I'm going to make an out of character comment here. So Nox, the biggest reason why I want to avoid doing what you've just described is because that essentially punts the decision to NPCs. And I think I'd rather keep this as a PC decision for our campaign.
Yep. The decision that I'm making is an in-character one, and out of character one. If it gets brought up, either that planet is going to become unavailable. No, either way, the planet becomes unavailable. But if we don't talk about it, the planet is still available if we need to go back there for whatever reason.
Would you guys like some advance insight onto what any particular one of these decisions or all these decisions would likely entail? So that it's less, I guess, so that you know what punting it to the NPCs would most likely create as situations for you.
Yeah, I'm interested in that part.
Okay. So telling Galactic Mandate, that's a pretty easy one to assume. Galactic Mandate will go and do their investigations and then declare it. I can't remember exactly what I called it. Hang on, let me look. There's one other planet that falls under this. It's not. Well, I'll find it later. Oh, Mandate Order Galactic Mandate Order 757 for the preservation and observation of a developing sapient species. It's under Halea, the planet, in Iurgargi. Is the only other planet in this sector where this has come around.
What number?
0701. And so it's likely that Galactic Mandate would, do their investigations and would declare Galactic Mandate Order 757. And even during a legal battle, Galactic Mandate would insist on the preservation of the planet until the battle is resolved. They find that, of course, challenges Galactic Mandate's authority. And it's unlikely that Mercure Corps would openly do that. So that's the Tell Galactic Mandate most likely result. Not telling anyone except for Raza. The NPCs at Raza aren't going to do anything about this. There's just not enough resources And while there's interest in developing sapient species, Commander Rao, Jai Rao, is still laboring under some expectation of a time limit on everything that he does, and so he makes his decisions based on that perceived time limit. You know, nurturing a developing sapient species is a decades or centuries thing, not a months or year thing. And so,
As in a,
go ahead.
as an aside, either way, nothing gets done until this campaign ends.
Not necessarily. With the punting it to NPCs, it is possible, likely even, that Mercure Corps or Galactic Mandate, that somebody, one of them, finds out about this on their own. You're certainly not the only people to have had any experiences with these squids. You're just the characters in focus that have. So it's possible that the information gets out anyways. At which point it would most likely get to Mercure first, in all honesty. And
That's Oogie's fear. That's exactly how I was thinking about this. Although you've raised a point there, and I've got a question about this. Is our crew aware of the implicit time limit that, maybe set by this supposed impending end of the universe?
I feel like it's important for.
I was starting to wonder about that myself.
I think you broke up at the very end there, Nux. It's important for what?
Oh, I stopped talking there.
Oh.
I think that it's important for like a complete information package. Granted, the person giving us the information package is Jai, so I wouldn't be surprised if stuff like that was left out.
And I think that's where I'm gonna go. You guys have been courting more respect and more information, as I mentioned in the last intermission. But getting to the point of actually hearing Jai's crazy crackpot theory of we've got less than a year might not be something that he trusted anybody but his old Raza crew with. I do think that there's a possibility you might have gotten that kind of intimation from some of those old Raza crew, and I think it's fair to give you all connect roles if you think that talking about the missions and talking about time and the state of the galaxy or the state of the sector is something that would have occurred in your day-to-day connections with various crew, then I think you could make that role. But everybody that you've crewed with so far was on the Raza when they were making these discoveries, and when Jai and the commanders were got that burr under their heel to start Raza and try to fight this. So to summarize a convoluted answer I just gave, you have not been told explicitly by the commanders yet. However, if you want your character to have had state of the sector conversations with NPCs on the Marmoset, then go ahead and roll me a connect check and we'll see just how deep those got.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll connect plus int for Oogie,
yeah,
on the idea that there may have been hints dropped or roundabout conversations, and we'll see if he has put the pieces together.
Go for it. Okay. Anybody else want to roll?
I will assist in that matter.
Okay.
Badly, but I don't think I have standing as yet.
Yeah, Izia would have had to interact with more of the old Raza crew. It's something that he could be doing here and now, and he certainly has an advantage with his telepathy. So, I wouldn't make the check easier for him. However, I believe that the telepathy gives you reason to make the check even without the months-long history that the rest of the PCs have with various crew.
Right. I mean, there's also the fact that when he's not studying his cargo manifest and trying to figure out what happened, he's urgently trying to figure out what is happening.
Oh, that's fair.
I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
absolutely. Go ahead and give it a roll.
If he gets the sense that there may be some urgency, that's probably enough, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's what I'd be going for. Just any sense of urgency.
Can you repeat that, Nox? You were breaking up a little bit.
That's along the veins of what I would have felt out if there was like real urgency there.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get a roll from Amaya also. I think this is something that she might... Oh my goodness, what happened? Wow! Okay, well...
Basically, we've all put the pieces together.
Okay, so the difficulty was 10. This was moderately difficult. The prior crew of the Raza, they saw some things that had them. Well, one of the crew went off and visited his daughters again, and then came back. He visited them as if it was going to be for the last time. You haven't actually crewed with him yet, but that's just an example of, the Mass Effect 2 loyalty missions. They've already all happened. Those people have all gone and seen their estranged father or children or whatever, and they've come to terms and come to peace. Screw Mass Effect 2, stupid system.
And murdered them when they discovered that they were leading a cult of people on their planet. Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later. No, I have to decide which of these has murdered their father for leading the cult. And yeah, there has been a palpable tension in deep conversations. It's not evident or as evident in the day-to-day things because it gets mixed in with regular stresses. There's a lot of to do about the stresses that Ivan was creating, unintentionally creating for Elena. Well, in some deeper conversations, you learn that it wasn't just Ivan. It's this whole impending something happening, and I think all of you, even though I set the minimum at 10 for just getting the sense, you all rolled higher and better. That I'm not going to exclude Oogie from this. So all of you can have had conversation with one of the NPCs that you've interacted with, and or with each other after getting this sense, and have been informed that command at Raza are acting as if there's a 1-year time limit on the sector. They're building for the future, but they're prioritizing things that can be done and make an impact in a year or less. I know that was weighty.
Well, I'm also. It came up as an aside to the present scene.
It did.
and I'm trying to think about how. I'm pretty sure Oogie doesn't believe it.
Okay.
It's either too big or too far fetched for practical, down to earth, salt of the earth Oogie to believe it.
Entirely fair. And, on that vein, there have been doomsday calls for as long as man can remember history. Not usually from people like Jai Rao, though. For people that actually know Jai.
I don't know. Jai strikes me as a sort to try to lead a doomsday cult.
So with that aside handled, does that change any positions on the squids?
Yeah, the squids. Yeah.
You at least have some not support, some understanding of why Raza Command doesn't feel like it's worth their resources right now. If they're laboring under this perception of a timeline, whether it's true or not, then they're also not going to do anything that is a decades, centuries long ordeal. I'm going to add on for Oogie. It also brings to light some of the corners that he saw cut in various financial ledgers. Things that could perhaps come back and fall apart easily 5-10 years down the line.
When Armstrong is done making the edits
Mm-hmm.
to the report, Oogie's going to take it back. Maya, I think Raza thinks it's dealing with the end of the universe. Now, frankly, I think that's a load of hogwash, but it means they ain't going to do nothing about this, and that can only be to the detriment of these stride beasts. I'm going to send this to Mandate.
Does Amaya have a response to that?
Conveniently, I was muted as I started talking.
I thought you might be.
Just give me a second and a third.
I mean, first we've got to figure out what we're calling these things, though. Like, we need to give them a name, like a scientific name.
You don't get to name my creatures. No, wait, you totally do.
Sorry, I'm back now. Ignoring the... not ignoring the, but... I don't
Ignoring the
think
filler,
that
yeah.
the end of the universe brouhaha is as far-fetched when we take into account the coast-to-coast space ghosts we're dealing with.
Maybe these squid things can help counteract the ghosts. Maybe that's it.
And when I was talking about even if we gave it to Mercure Core, and they started the legal battle over it, a legal battle over ownership of a planet would take years to complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we gotta think, how many times would they try to steal that species, though, during that process? Like, oh, one went missing. Oh no. Oh, a second one did. Whoopsies. Like, you wouldn't really know. They would just abduct them. But hey, I guess there's not we can really do about that. Unless you decided to, I don't know, gather them all in one place to, like, look over them. But still, we need to give them a name, though.
Yeah, what do you guys want to name these creatures in Ogu's report? That may or may not get sent, although it sounds more and more like it will be.
Come on, we need something scientific. So, the scavengers, the squids.
Hold on, I've got this.
Oh,
I'm
okay, okay.
I'm gonna put something in discussion.
Oh no.
The legged squids of Anti. Antitoothus pody.
I mean, I don't like it. It sounds pretty cool.
It sounded like you said, I don't like it. It sounds pretty cool.
It was, I don't not like it.
Oh,
Double
okay.
negative.
I didn't hear the not. All
Actually,
right.
No,
using
no, I like it.
Linnaean classification? You don't have. Oh well, whatever.
What was that?
There you go, Oogie. You just named your first species. You're a proper scientist now.
Oogie does a quick scan through the thing and replaces all instances of stride beasts with that name.
Yeah, maybe we call them the Oogie and Terfurius podi. You know, not podi, pudi. Max is just smirking.
And as Oogie does his find and replace, sees that Armstrong has given quite detailed commentary on how to present and format his report to conform with galactic mandate standards, noting that that's even more important if this is something that you're intending to either send or have Raza send to galactic mandate.
All right. Yeah, Oogie is going to send this. He'll make his edits to it, and this will get sent out before we depart from Broad Space.
Okay. And with that, unless there are any other comments on it, I think the flashback's over.
I think the flashback's over.
All right. That was fun.
I know. I was probably came up with a species name within the space of like 5 minutes.
You know how long it would have
think that's
taken
like
the
an
scientists to do
accomplishment.
that? There would be months of arguments over that alone.
They would have tried to conjugate the Latin.
See, I think we put Oogie in the middle though. Terfurius Oogie podi.
That's not how it works, Marcus. If they were going to put my name in the species name, it would be Tromar.
Oh. Do we put that at the end then? Podi Tromar?
No, the common name is going to be Tromar's land squid.
Or Tromar squid? Or land squid or Tromar squid? Tromos, Landstriders, Tromostrider. Nah. They all sound, I don't know. Oogie sounds better. You know, it's more fun, more hip.
What's likely to happen is that Oogie sounds like a very wiggly, squiggly word.
Exactly. Oogie Podai.
And so, even without the Podai, they're just going to be called Oogies.
So on your left, you'll see a family of Oogies walking around on their harvested legs. You can see the one there with the human skull on his head is the leader. Displays this as a mark of leadership or, I don't know, higher status. I can't wait for the safaris to look at that world and just think, what the hell? Here you see the millipede slug. Try not to anger it or take pictures with the flashes on.
And when the squids or the Antituthus podi are waving and dancing, it'll be called the Oogie Woogie.
I like this even more. Oogie, thank you for the name. Thank you for volunteering.
Coming soon
Back
to a
of
club
service?
near you, the Oogie Woogie Boogie. I'm sorry, Tulare, what was that? I ran right over you.
Ben was thanking me for my service, and I said, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
All right. Let's look over at Izya again. And we're back on Kamiego here. And Izya has gotten to know peripherally some of the comings and goings of, well, some of the crew as they are coming and going, that are referred to as mission team crew. These aren't just the regular researchers and construction workers around Dry Sun. They're closer to his level in treatment, in that they are elevated ship crew, but they're not the dedicated ground mission team that he is, and have their memories. A couple of them are from systems near him. Tally in particular is actually from Everest Station.
Which, for clarity, is the one above Ka.
Mhm.
Chances are Izzy's been talking to her a lot.
Okay. So, how does Izzy find out that she's from Everest Station, do you think?
I think there's a pretty good chance that at some point while he's out of his room, he's muttering into himself in Islandese and she answers him. Since
Okay.
she seems to be the only one of them who speaks it.
Harry does too, but he's not from Ka.
Well, if Harry notices, he might have too, but I think it's likelier that, especially given dialect, it would be her.
Yeah, it certainly would be. And she seems thrilled to meet another person that not only speaks Islandese, but also speaks it with the smoother flow than those Kosani do.
I don't know that he has any special interest in talking to her about anything. He doesn't really remember Ka at this point, except in the broadest terms. He might be trying to reconstruct some of that.
Yeah, I think that that would engage her. Wrong document. That would engage her. She'll sit and talk with him about that. My cast doc. There we go.
I can tell you that a likely outcome, especially if she's from Everest, is that he remembers he spent a lot of time up there, too.
Turns out, let's go ahead and put a roll to this.
Mhm.
Oh, I've got a character sheet. Where is Tally? Oh, that's Trisha. There's Tally. Oh yeah, she's the one that she is also a bit elevated. There's she's got that badass story. She actually blew apart a what was it? Um a weaponized walking drone that was threatening the crew of the Raza in distant part of the sector.
Well, as you thinks that's really cool.
Yeah.
To the extent that he can think somebody trying to kill him is cool, which is sort of limited in his case.
That was important enough for someone to try to kill me. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly he's just trying to figure out anything he can about where he's from. And,
Well,
you know,
she actually recognizes him.
oh,
Yeah. She vaguely recognizes the art trader who would occasionally come back to his home of Ka, and what did he come back for?
up and drop off, probably. Not much else. I don't think he wanted to look back,
Okay.
knowing
Okay.
what I know.
You said drop off of what?
Well, goods, presumably.
Okay.
Ka has what? Food, mostly?
Let me pull up my trade doc.
Although I see something about adventure tourism in Tally's background.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Let's see. Where was Ka?
Over on the west side of the sector.
No,
halfway down.
I've forgotten the name of the planet. I'm looking at an alphabetical list right now.
Ah.
Oh, Lohikau. Right, okay. Lohikau. So, yeah. Ka buys low-tech and tool and sells agricultural. Agricultural is fairly easy to get sold elsewhere. So it's in the absence of other trade that what was it? The come and get it?
Mm-hmm. No, the yet to come.
Yet to come. In the absence of other trade that the yet to come could pick up, Ka, especially with somebody who's from there and their connections, would be a good just kind of holdover. You know, agricultural shipping is never going to make anybody rich, but it will keep the bills paid.
There's a reasonable chance it's where he stocked the kitchen, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Food may be the only thing he misses. Or may have been the only thing he missed. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, Talia has the same kind of misgivings of missing the food there, although she has heard that Ivan has a particular knack for recreating cultural specialties with just a few words of description and some recipes.
Is can and does confirm. Although he's more interested in circling back to this arch trader thing.
Oh, yes. She remembers that her father had bought a couple of pieces. Nothing in bulk, but just that his Izya's name had floated around as the provider of some. Was it legally obtained or was it illicit art?
Izya didn't ask.
Okay, so
It was the firm's responsibility to do that. His job was to get it to whoever bought it.
okay, yep, and that was actually a good payday. I'm gonna ask one more question about that. And was it a payday for that crew or for the firm? Was this underhanded? Not underhanded, under the table.
I think if he went back to Ka, whatever he was doing might not have been above board. But
Okay.
it's hard to say at this point. For obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. All
But
right.
Ka does not strike me as a place with a lot of wealthy people who would buy exotic stuff. So if there was somebody there who wanted some, it was probably not a above board deal.
Right. It really isn't. Although Tally's Tally's father is certainly one of the richer people at Ka, and she's revealing this more conspiratorially. She's, you know, kind of trying to distance herself from what she describes as a gilded cage.
Does that ring any bells for Izzy?
Nothing more than just apparently she's some kind of rich or elite or nobility there.
Oh, I meant about him, but
Oh.
either way.
Only if you think he did it so much that it would have become more muscle memory than experience memory.
No, I think she mostly just gets like a friendly but understanding shrug for that then.
Yeah.
I don't think he hated his home world. In fact, that's definitely not the dominant sentiment, but he didn't seem to have a reason to spend a lot of time there. That's what he remembers now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. She'll certainly talk about how she did start adventure tours as a side hustle. Kind of she talks about how she was trying to be a force of change for the cities and the flotillas. As she would put it, they were always just an excuse to put the inequity of trade between the cities and flotillas on full display. But, fashioned into a adventure tours business for rich, although that wasn't her preferred clientele, but influential people. She is very despondent that nothing really ever came of it.
I think that might be why I left. More or less.
She can sympathize with that.
I don't know if I remember it bothering me at all, but I don't. What I remember about the planet, I wanted to leave. He shakes his head.
And yeah, she commiserates deeply with that. She misses her family, but does not miss the way of things.
Yeah, they can agree on that for sure. Does she keep in contact with anybody back on Everest?
She sends letters. But doesn't...
Izzy is going to ask her to send along a picture of him and a description to see if anybody there knows who he is, since apparently at least somebody had heard of him at some point.
Okay. She'll send that to her father. She does comment that she hasn't gotten back in nearly as many letters as she's sent, but she keeps at it. And
Izzy thinks about that for a while, and it's worth a try.
She's certainly happy to send it along with any words he wants to include.
It's him. It's a description of him. It's the ship he used to crew on. Has anybody seen it? Has anybody seen him? It's not quite a missing persons report, but he's definitely heading in that direction as he describes himself.
Okay. And I think Izya and Tally perhaps move on to more neutral and
even happier topics, yeah.
Yeah, pleasant topics. Like Ivan's cooking.
Has Ivan begun to introduce the spice yet? Is the question. Has he started like sneaking little bits in?
The spicier?
Yeah, as he swayed our new compatriot over to the spice side.
Oh. Well, don't worry. Aboard the ship, he's not going to have too much of a choice. If you bring Ivan back again. I believe I can answer that question for you, Tulair. Meowkin is supposed to be back, which is one of the reasons I didn't feel as bad about canceling last week. I did feel bad about canceling last minute, and I apologize for that. As a very quick aside, my braces had been adjusted very recently, and the bands that they have between your teeth put into new positions that were making all my teeth feel like they were falling out and tugging on my sinuses. So in combination with some little mental setbacks I was experiencing, that was just not a good time for me.
Fair enough.
I try to make a habit of not make a habit of canceling just because I feel bad though. So this was a bigger whammy than just I didn't feel good.
Sometimes you got to pull the trigger on that. No shame in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all for understanding. Let's see. We've got a couple scenes left that you wanted to get into. However, I want to take a short break from the roleplay and talk to you guys about what you want from the blueprints, basically, from having presented the blueprints and decided that they were going to the bro, which is a perfectly reasonable decision that that Raza might have made on its own, and so everything's like got myself onto a tangent that I didn't need to.
These are the ship blueprints?
The very specific special ship design blueprints from the Nox.
Now, Izzy has lots of highly technical opinions about them if anybody bothers to ask him, but not much in the way of ethical or political ones.
This is more of an out-of-character conversation.
I know, but I'm telling you what his reaction would be, since he's probably not involved.
Okay, fair enough. What do you guys want?
We're currently in a patrol boat?
Mm-hmm. You're in a patrol boat. For mission teams, the Raza also has a Corvette. I had initially had you decide between the two of them with kind of a weird you'll use more points to start on this, but it's still there. I'll do that differently next time I run this part of the campaign, because I don't think that worked out too well. So available mission ships are the patrol boat, the Marmoset that you've been flying. It has a lower profile than the Corvette, but it's still a military ship. The only reason that you haven't been experiencing any difficulties with it being a military ship is because of Oogie.
Shrewd merchant!
Indeed. The same would probably be true if you traveled in a Corvette, but there is also the possibility that there would be some scrutiny. Even Oogie's Shrewd Merchant couldn't completely evade for you. That goes for every ship, every military style ship, as you get bigger. And
I'm just looking at some of the other ships now.
Yeah. So the conversation essentially becomes, how much do you want to risk somebody looking at you in a fleet cruiser and saying, "Hey, that's a fleet cruiser," and excuse me, how much do you want your ship designs to kind of eat into the goodwill, kind of more or less, from the goodwill and the future trade leverage of having presented these blueprints to the bro.
Yo, if we get a cruiser, I can get a fighter ship there. Boom. Get ourselves like a shuttle.
Now, there's a couple of other considerations for you. If you get a fleet cruiser as is stock, as is standard, then it's possible that can be ready for you before your next mission. If you want to customize it, then the bro work very fast, completing about 100,000 credits worth of work a day. But it will take them some time to complete it. Possibly 1 or 2 missions worth.
But it's also a lot of people we have to have for crew on it.
It is a lot of
people.
people, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's part of why I was asking about crew. I mean, part of me wants to say get a bulk freighter, but we want this to be a warship, don't we?
It's almost as if we want a bulk freight, but with better engine. But
Yeah, I
then-
mean, there would be things that I would do with the bulk freighter hull. But I'm less worried about weapons than I am just about if we're going to be doing any kind of diplomacy or trade, having a nice ship, even if it's in a bulk freighter hull, is more important to me than having a warship.
yeah, that I agree with.
You know, so we could take a bulk freighter hull and take all of that cargo space and instead make that things like luxury cabins.
Yeah.
You know, or we can have amenities of some kind.
But you also want to note that ship mods will be available for any ship that you have built. So things like Q ship cladding to conceal your weapons is entirely possible for you.
What? I've never read through those.
I will say that it, just as a non-character opinion, to a certain extent, Izya is meant to be helping you guys run a spaceship when he's not doing cool telepath things. So there's that to be
Yes.
considered.
Be a leader.
As for the crew, even on a fleet cruiser, which has a minimum crew of 50,
Yeah, that's what I mean. 50 people is a lot of people.
it is a lot of people. The time it takes to build such a ship would easily be enough for Raza to field a competent crew. And I think I've been remiss in Dry Sun. There's a lot of people here now. So in all theory, a fleet cruiser could be crewed now. You would not get 50 NPCs, named NPCs. I think I had decided that I wanted to limit that to, say, about six to 10 named NPCs. And the rest would just be nameless, and well, until they die, and then they would get a name and a family and a history for you to mourn. In fact, I think I might actually just say right now, as a test, that NPCs, nameless NPCs that die, will need to be given a name and a brief history by one of you. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But
I like that.
that is to say that a fleet crew and a fleet cruiser, I don't want that to be a we can't do that, we don't have enough NPCs consideration for you. Raza will make that happen.
Now we have the people to execute Russian military strategy. They will choke on our dead.
Ew.
Yeah.
All right, so
Cool.
if we would get a fleet cruiser, the Drive 3 is only going to cost us 3 instead of 6, if I remember correctly. So we immediately... Is that right, Dexter? Did I have that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Because it costs the same as a 2 normally would.
Yeah.
So we get an extra 3 power and 3 mass to deal with, which immediately gives us some opportunities in terms of adding the workshop, or perhaps upgrading a weapon, or adding, as I've suggested, some luxury cabins, so that we can operate a little bit more like a multi-purpose ship. We've got that Q-ship cladding, which is a possibility. How much does the hull play into the identification of us as a warship, and how much of it is the actual loadout of the ship?
That's a good question.
Like, for example, if we would drop the grav cannon, which admittedly is a very nice weapon, but if we would drop the grav cannon, does that make us seem more like just a large, a large frigate rather than a ship of the line?
No. So the way I've been kind of doing ships is there are standardized designs. That's why you've got fleet cruisers with so much power and so much mass and so many hard points. All fleet cruisers, even customized, start from that baseline, and the various starports will generally recognize that a ship with that particular design is a military ship. It might have been stripped of weapons, and well, that's actually about all you can do. It might have been stripped of weapons, but the captain is likely going to have to explain, yes, this was a military ship, but we're weaponless, and we come in trade. We've converted it to a trade and luxury craft each and every time. It's kind of like when you see a police cruiser on the street that's been that's been auctioned off. You still see the grills on the front, you still see those lights on the side, and it still looks like a police car, but there's just some random dude driving it, and it's clearly been repainted and relicensed. That's the kind of thing that you get with a fleet cruiser without Q-ship cladding. Q-ship cladding specifically says it can be made to look like a merchant or freighter of its size class. It's not just the weapons.
I mean, it looks like if you're going to cut something off of a fleet cruiser, you don't really need the drop pods or the boarding tubes for what you guys are doing.
Well, the drop pod we do need, because otherwise we don't have a way of getting down to the. I mean, unless we also give it atmospheric configuration.
Or we get a fighter bay and get a shuttle.
Yeah. The latter seems more practical, honestly, because you already own.
The drop pod is basically just an armed and armored cargo lighter.
Yeah, it's overkill for what it is you're doing most of the time.
But I'm also receptive to the argument, if anybody cares to make it, that we can't abandon the possibility of needing our defenses. But yeah, the boarding tubes are
don't take the
probably
guns
overkill.
off. Keep the guns. You probably don't need boarding tubes, and I don't think you need drop pods. You can go with something smaller, but
Okay. You guys want me to give you a ship sheet to meddle around with?
I'm just kind of peeking here. So the advantage of the drop pods or a cargo lighter, depending, either one of them, as opposed to a shuttle, is that if we wanted to, we could also then have vehicles on our ship rather than having to rent at destination, which we've done twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So just think we can mod the shuttle.
I mean, I suppose a shuttle kind of operates as a vehicle, right? We could, in theory, fly it around not inside of inhabited areas.
It does, as long as you don't arm it to the teeth, which you can't really do with a shuttle anyways. You won't be able to fly a fleet cruiser around in atmosphere. They can't get atmospheric configuration. That was a Raza special only.
Can you put wheels on a shuttle? Can we just have a space Winnebago?
Yeah, either way, the cargo lighter is more versatile than the drop pod, so you'd want to replace it just on that basis. They take up the same amount of space, but you don't need to drop, a unit of Space Marines. You need to drop like a thing that can pick up all this cool shit you've salvaged from the sound of things.
Let me ask you for clarification. Why do you say a cargo lighter is more versatile than a drop pod?
Because as far as I can tell, reading the descriptions, even though the drop pod is technically a cargo lighter, it is also meant to be full of people, whereas a cargo lighter is a cargo lighter.
Okay. I've always handled it that the drop pod can drop the same amount of cargo or people as a cargo lighter. So there's no loss of utility in transporting.
Well, given that, there's no reason to worry about the drop pods. So, tubes.
Yeah. The only consideration you have for the drop pod, just going back to that real quick, is that it is also considered a military vehicle, and that
Don't say.
yeah, that could cause issues in various places. Again, though, you have Oogie, who tends to be able to smooth those issues out a lot easier than other people.
This is a commercial grav tank.
Wait, a drop pod can have like shooty things on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to this, it's considered to be a flight-capable grav tank.
I have, however, ruled that it can't really move about on the surface. It is still intended to go up and down between ship and surface.
Still, grav tank.
It's a grav tank space elevator.
It's a war. That's what we like to call negotiating leverage.
Oh, it's literally just like, oh, you don't like our terms? Push the button. Just, 1 minute, and just fucking drop pod comes down.
All right. The Eagle sheet should have been thrown onto your screen. Sorry about that, Nox. I didn't even think about you.
Build a ship.
I hope that doesn't eat up all of your screen real estate.
Well, not now that I've closed it.
Nox is on mobile device on Roll20, so I'm generally more concerned with their utility.
We are a ship. Oof, so many choices.
And you don't have to decide on this right now.
Yeah, no, might have to think on this one.
Yeah, I wanted to put it up for some brief discussion. At least get some. Yeah, that's what Nox is dealing with there, Aura. At least
Brad.
get some direction that you want to go. Like, I would like to know, or have in planning, whether you're going to get a fleet cruiser, 2 fleet cruisers, if you think you want to go for a battleship, which is not entirely outside the cards here. It just wouldn't be being piloted by you.
Yeah, no, I don't think we can just cruise around in a battleship. Too many questions.
Yeah. It would also take a very long time to build, even at 100,000 credits a day.
I mean, we are about to be investigated. Maybe we do just buy one. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Depending on
And
how the lawsuit goes, you might need the guns.
unfortunately, the Bro don't have any battleships in stock that you can just buy and immediately jump into.
No.
Yeah, a battleship would take 500 days to build.
I could always just buy ships and escape velocity. I don't understand what this bullshit is. Work. Building times. Come on, just number of credits.
Jeez, yeah, Battleship is literally that, a battleship. Just look at its stats.
Yup. Oh yeah. It is designed to destroy fleets.
Yeah, I think wherever you end up, the cruiser hull probably makes the most sense for what you guys seem to have in mind. It's just a question of what's in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. We just get like a semi-adapted cruiser.
All right. So I think that's a good place. We'll put you guys. Let me throw the fleet cruiser stats into this.
Oh, I don't mean necessarily a fleet cruiser. I mean something in that weight class. But yeah, start there.
It sounded like you guys had dismissed the bulk freighter as a suboptimal cruiser option. Am
Are
I?
we not allowed to...
Boogie would go gaga for that, but I also know that this is not strictly speaking. This is a war campaign. This is not a trade campaign.
Really? What gave you that idea?
Are we not allowed to just freestyle it with between 25 and 30 mass?
Darkstar War? Nah, it's all about peacemaking, this.
I think what you lose with the bulk freighter is the armor and the hard points. There's no real way to make up for that loss with just other fittings.
Once we finish the war portion of the campaign, we can epilogue into trading.
Yes.
That won't be immensely boring and involve lots of spreadsheets, we promise.
And we promise to get you your own ship eventually, Yugi. Eventually being the key word there.
I mean, really, the bulk freighter, its biggest advantage, as far as I can see, is the ability to convert it into a luxury yacht. No lies.
I don't think that's something that the fleet cruiser fails at. Like, the fleet cruiser has a higher max crew for more luxury cabins.
It absolutely does, and it has a ton of power and mass, but it never quite escapes. I guess with the Q ship cladding it can, but it never quite escapes the I'm a warship
That's true.
stigma.
Yeah, no, that's true. The Q ship cladding is the only thing that really escapes that, and Q ship cladding is subject to more in-depth observation. Like, military crew coming on board will probably identify, oh wait, this is not just a merchant ship, depending on how good they are. It is only external observation and standard scans.
Yeah, if it remains concealed, great. If they discover that it's there and that you've been concealing it, that's double scrutiny.
Yeah. I would probably say you can have an alternate ship identification that you just switch between when you've got Q ship cladding activated and deactivated, so that you don't run into the problem of, hey, wait a minute, we saw the Marmoset 2 in this system as a military ship last time, and now it looks like a luxury liner? Okay, something's not right. No, you could make it Marmoset and Ferret.
Oh, that's an activated thing? I thought that was just a modification of the ship in general.
When they are not deployed for combat. So it's vague in wording, but I think I feel like it should be an activated thing.
Oh, and the way that I read that was just, if the ship has its gun bays open and is powering weapons to shoot at you, you can tell.
Yeah, that's certainly a good interpretation too.
Ooh, that was a great charging weapon noise. Well done.
Happy practicing. That just reminds me of all the fucking pew pew videos.
Yeah. All right. So, are we decided on a fleet cruiser, or do you want more time over the week to decide?
I think the latter.
Okay. I will leave this build a ship open. You guys can come into the. Oh, it's you're gonna be your ship anyway, so it's gonna be open. You can come in and explore and um, fiddle around with it at any time you want. Just keep in mind that anybody else can also do the same, so if you come up with a layout you really like, you might want to just take a screenshot of it and post it so that we can come back to it later.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, no, I was just playing around with the travel cost thing, quick minion. That's a lot of credits just to travel from one end of the system to the other.
Yes, yeah, it is.
That's what happens when you have zeros.
Yep.
Why are you breaking things, Ben?
Well, you're gonna have to make money somewhere. That's all. Oogie should be excited about that.
No, yeah, we'll decide on stuff later.
Genshin Impact assures me that the best way to make sure you have passive income is to obtain copyright on something. So bear that in mind.
I'm just looking up cute animals that we can use as the name for the ship.
Right. Buy the
The
fleet
swallow.
cruiser, names it Kitten. That's gotta be a meme somewhere.
Oh, here we go. Here's an well, no, because we've already got one named after a primate. Otherwise, I was going to say we could name it the Slow Loris. That would be ironic.
All right, we are at 1 o'clock, so why don't we take our break?
Think of
And
some names for the future.
yeah, and we'll come back to how about we come back to Amaya? Working on that security eyewear and looking for test subjects.
Oh yeah, you're getting your cool like band glasses.
I've also got another really small project to get done.
Okay.
Oh, fixing my chair. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to put up the "Be Right Back" sign now.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
All right, I'm bringing us back into frame, and we're going to jump in to with Amaya and her product. Do you want to set a scene, Nox, or do you want me to?
You can set a scene.
Okay. We'll say that Amaya has been interacting with Quiet River a little bit on this. Quiet River has some experience in how useful a device like this would be, and not in just an urban setting. The binoculars portion explicitly would have been incredibly valuable for his job as basically search and rescue on Holau, where ships might come onto the surface to fight giant created monsters, planetary created monsters, and lose because those monsters aren't real-ish. And so it has been a valuable exchange with him in getting things prepared for a man of much larger proportions and still miniaturizing things and making sure that your field of view isn't terribly affected as binoculars tend to. And after a test run where he took a motorcycle out into the hard desert sands of Kamiego. Invited Amaya along if she wanted to either ride with him or ride on her own motorcycle alongside him.
They'd definitely ride with him.
Okay.
That being said, it is extremely inadvisable to try and drive anything while you're binocularizing.
Yes, and that's part of the test is to make sure that nothing untoward triggers in actual use. Like obviously, there's been extensive controlled environment testing to make sure that the binoculars don't mistake a cue for, oh, we need to zoom in now. But nothing, only limited field testing. And he doesn't feel like the field testing has been really rugged enough. And so he wants to get out there where there's dust storms, where there's a horizon for days, and where any number of little things could easily interfere with the quick reaction functionality of these glasses. So he powers up the hover cycle, makes room for Amaya behind him, and he zips off. Now, Quiet River is a daring man, but he's also responsive if Amaya is showing any kind of signs of concern about how he's driving this beast.
For the most part, Amaya's going to let him do what he wants. If he does something particularly dangerous, I put a gentle stop to it.
Okay. He doesn't do anything terribly dangerous, but he does open it up and go faster than is realistically safe in this environment, even without visual aid of any sort. But not so fast that if a rock were to come up, you would just become paste. He doesn't take unnecessary risks per se.
I don't want my head to be found 5 exits down the road.
Right. Especially when there are no roads. The testing goes well. He does stop at the top of a rise and activate them. Tries to peer through the cloud of dust that you've kicked up just from the turbulence of air in the passing of your hover bike, and comments that well, the glasses still aren't readily able to see through thick particulate matter, but you both kind of expected that. That's a tough nut to crack in, especially as small as you're trying to make this with. With more advanced tech, if you were able to squeeze some thermal vision into this, you'd have better visibility. But, well, actually, no, not on Kamiego. That's a very difficult nut to crack.
Yeah.
But when the dust clears, he's able to activate the binoculars and make some scouting of the distant horizon. Sees some people that have apparently been attracted to the clouds of dust, and takes Amaya off at a slower speed so that the dust isn't kicked up, and you guys hide out for a couple hours. Not exactly hiding out. He's still putting the stuff to use. But as part of the ongoing test, you end up getting straight into nightfall, where the scouts have all gone off and gone back to wherever they came from, and he's ready to get back on the bike. It is pitch black out here. The moon is not out. and only the very, very light LEDs of the hover cycle's running lights are giving you guys any kind of ambience to know that you still exist. I guess there's starlight too, but you know, there's a little bit of a cloud of dust that's muting even that.
This would be a much better time to use the thermal optic, because nights on a desert planet tend to get pretty cold.
Yeah, it would. Something that he comments they'll continue trying to work in, but just the tech to miniaturize the thermal quite that far isn't quite ready, isn't quite there.
I'll make a note of it. I have been making, or Amaya has been making notes into her compad whenever it was safe enough to do so.
Okay. Good. Yeah, he you know said he comments on the cache of just perfectly made material sciences already done and spared them inventing the wheel for a lot of stuff with that cache of just weird parts that she found on Thurid, and says you find something else like that can get these thermals shrunk down into glasses format. You put some resources towards it, you get us that tech. And he waits a little bit longer for some of the dust to clear. I don't think that's true, Tulare. He waits a little bit for some of the overhanging dust clouds to sweep on by, and then invites Amaya to join him back on the bike. He gets on, invites her to join him back on the bike, and he is going to test out the low light under fairly safe driving conditions, at least at first.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Amaya feels about this, but as far as she can see, I guess unless she's wearing the glasses too. That would make sense if she was.
Yeah, she got a second pair.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. So, you know, she's seeing the same as he is, and the low light, the stars that are leaking through the gaps in the dust clouds, and where the dust clouds just aren't, is enough for safe navigation. He even kicks up the throttle a little bit, and screams on through the chilling Kamiego night. You end up returning to Dry Sun. Probably late in the evening, but not quite the morning. Between 10:30 and 11.
Okay, so early enough to get some actual sleep in after some note taking. But
And
Quiet
Quiet River.
Things to work on. Go ahead.
Quiet River, as you part, says, "Well, this was a fun date, but you should test it out with others as well."
Yep, that's the plan.
Good. I'll get these cleaned up. You go on. Or not these, the cycle, the bike.
Yeah. Yep. Anytime, well, when the next prototype comes in, I'll make sure you get a copy. Otherwise, next time I'm back in town, we're welcome to do another run.
I look forward to it.
And then I'm going to go ahead and get inside and go about cleaning these off and checking them for damage.
Okay. I assume the next morning. She's probably not going to do it this evening. How does she want to recruit, and who does she want to recruit for testing them out on just kind of different conditions? Anything else anybody else can think of?
Raza original staff only.
Okay.
I'm keeping it as close to wraps as possible at this point.
Are you including the mission team in the original staff only?
I am.
Okay.
I am putting in little, what is it? An email broadcast out to the people that are available, seeing if I can get a list of people that are interested, and then curating from there.
Okay.
By people that would be people whose input that I would actually be able to use.
Okay. So I'm going to focus on the PCs component of that.
Yep.
Just to give more players screen time. I've certainly had enough narration for myself today.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to use a mission commander box for whoever would be interested in it. Oogie, Marcus, and Izya. Are you interested in responding to Amaya's call for to test a product? I don't know exactly how Amaya would put it.
Marcus will approach. Oh, hey Amaya. I have a request in turn then.
What kind of request?
You know that chair I've got?
The death trap? Yes, I know that chair you've got.
Exactly. I want to stop it being a death trap. So, I helped test your death trap. You fixed my death trap. I mean, that seems pretty fair.
I will be surprised if you manage to get hurt with my death trap, but it's deal enough.
I mean, I don't know what it's going to do to me.
It's a pair of glasses.
I know, but it could make me see things I don't want to see. Could burn my eyes out. Could stare into the sun accidentally and just, that's it.
That's a good question. Has anybody tried staring into the sun?
I mean, like, what happens if I accidentally, like, look towards it and I just, like, burn my eyes out? Can that happen, or will it, like, like, darken automatically once you begin looking at bright lights?
It was assumed that people wouldn't be that dumb. But,
no, see, this is why you need idiots to test these things. Because they'll do all this stupid stuff that you won't think of. Just when you think you've made it idiot-proof, the world makes a better idiot.
That's unfair. The world's idiots are flawless.
In their own way. So, sound like a deal?
Sure, I'll get on it. Basically, as soon as you get the chair to me.
Okay, dokie. Let me know when you want it moving.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one?
Let me know where you want it moving and when. I'll get it over to you.
I'll give, not really directions, but like the location to where I'm supposed to be staying houseways, because I've converted the thing into a makeshift workshop.
Okie dokies. I'll have it right on over. But seriously, like, you are gonna, like, test, like, what happens if I do stare into the sun?
You'll go blind.
Okay. Will that be fixed?
You go blind.
Yeah, but will you fix that?
Marcus, you're a doctor. You should know what happens when you stare into the sun. Isn't that part of medical training?
I mean, yeah, but, You'd think
immediate
these
and
smart glasses
irreversible
that they'd,
blindness.
like, I don't know, do something about it.
You know, Marcus, you said that if we got her to help, this chair of yours would become safe and even helpful for me, but I'm starting to have doubts.
No. Trust in the process.
The process where you were planning on blinding yourself immediately before strapping me into an unknown machine about which you're uncertain the safety of?
No, I won't going to blind myself. See, I asked the question before doing it.
Aha. Is there another doctor here, perhaps?
Oh, yes.
Good to know.
I was going to make a comment, but I didn't want to.
As long as you're aware that staring into the sun, you'll just go blind. Permanent and irreversible blindness.
Yep. No. I know that.
What you gotta understand is Marcus subscribes to a theory of alternative medicine.
In the sense that...
He's an alternative to medicine.
Exactly.
I'd like to be able to comment on my past experiences with doctors, but at the moment I can't.
What about your past experience with, psychics? Hey, we're alike, you know?
Extensive, I think, but again, not inspiring overwhelming confidence at the moment.
Well, do you aren't confident in yourself? Because your only experience right now is yourself, right?
You're looking at the wrong factor in that equation, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Personally, I like to think of Marcus less as a physician and more as a pharmacologist. If you get my drift.
Continuing not to inspire tremendous confidence.
Good. You're picking up what I'm laying down then.
Hey, I'll have you know, I do plenty of research, hands-on research.
Raza
Oh.
hiring practices do not count for sanity.
I see.
I mean, whose idea was it to bring them dead rats and zombie pieces with us? Whose idea was it to buy a bunch of, hot sauce?
I'm sorry, zombie pieces
Both
and
good
hot
ideas.
sauce?
Both good ideas.
No, he's actually right on this one. The zombie pieces and the chunks of rats turned out to be kind of useful.
Exactly. And the hot sauce?
Just hot sauce.
Do you know the most frustrating thing about my condition?
You're hanging out with people like us?
Yeah.
I know you're all serious.
No, you see? No. We're not on a mission right now. So now we get to chill. Speaking of which, we need to make some brownies. Yeah.
So, Amaya, about this product that you're asking for beta testing, I am very interested in a set of hands-free binoculars. Even if it didn't have any of the other bells and whistles, that alone sounds like a fantastic idea.
Oh yeah, that I agree with.
I too am willing to help, but probably not all that useful in terms of feedback.
Wait. Will these binoculars be able to, see in the dark and, will I be able to see, hot and cold things with them? Or are they just binoculars?
You should be able to. That's what we're trying to work into it. Just don't look into the sun.
Don't worry, Dorian. Okay, what happens if I've got them in, dark mode, and then someone throws a flashbang? Will
That will be
burn my
very
eyes out?
bad for you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure,
I don't even need to remember what a flashbang is to know that will be bad for you. Should be an indicator.
Oogie looks like he's about to protest, and then he pauses. Actually, that's kind of a good point. Amaya, if they could be glasses that would protect somebody against a sudden flash of light like that, that would be kind of handy.
See? He gets it.
That's a non-ridiculous use case. Unlike looking into the sun, Marcus.
Yeah, but imagine, you're trying to spot a spaceship, it's up in the air, or a drop ship, and then it's near the sun, and you don't want to look at it, but then you accidentally look at it. That could happen.
I don't think a pair of binoculars will let you see into space anyways.
Depends
Yeah,
on the
but if I'm
planet.
looking for a dropship from space.
Atmospheric thickness is the major factor in how far you can see.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Also composition, particle content.
No. Don't need to worry about any of that stuff.
Point is, you'd be looking for something more akin to a telescope, and telescopes are more useful for size.
Not worrying about that can be fatal.
So
Maybe not
seems
in
to
this
me
context,
like.
but overall.
So it seems to me I've come up with a good idea with Oogie. You've got 2 test subjects, and I can get my chair fixed.
You can get your chair fixed. If you come back blind, I can't help you.
Oh, I
No one
understand
can
that.
help you.
I know a lawyer who can make that official for you. I think.
There's a waiver.
No. I won't be looking into a sun. Don't worry.
There's still a waiver.
Sign this acknowledgement, please, that you have officially been told not to look in the sun.
Begrudgingly will do so.
And once you've signed that waiver, you're going to go ahead and get a there's only a few of them, so the one of the ones that was already in use, and an explanation of how like it works on like a sheet, as well as a few things to like try doing.
Max is immediately going to go to his put them on, go to his lab, and find one of the what do you call it, microscopes, and just see what it does.
Okay.
Didn't expect anything. He's just doing it for giggles.
Okay. I think you're courting an end of the world, an end of the universe scenario here, and I have the perfect image for that. While I'm hunting that down in my files, I did realize that Nox, you may have some difficulty seeing when I type things into chat. Did you see what Quiet River sent? It's in Roll20, not in Discord.
Yeah, I can see everything except for the leftmost word. So,
Quiet River sends Amaya a research update.
research update, flash protection. Okay. A message will be sent back. I will type that message, and in the meantime, we can continue doing conversational roleplay.
From a wholly practical standpoint, either Nox or Dexter, I don't know who's going to have the answer to this. When will these be available as usable equipment for us?
Well, that's actually the bonus that Amaya gained for having spent that time in Thurid, is they are usable as stated in the mission report, the turn report, for your next mission.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you want to call them then? Nox?
I need a cool technical name.
Because I am going to replace my binoculars and compad with one of these.
You may want to keep a regular compad.
Yeah, you're gonna want the compad. Typing will be much easier and faster on it.
I've got a data slab.
Okay.
I mean, Oogie probably has more or less the same accent as Johnny, and I can tell you for a fact that Johnny has experienced significant difficulties with translation software. It hasn't come up as a plot point, but believe me, he has.
What do you mean you don't know the word reckon? It's a perfectly cromulent word.
It keeps typing wrecking.
Come on, fixin' to is a perfectly good way of saying things. I'm fixin' to fix this.
See, Marcus speaks the King's English.
Which king?
See, I can't say Queen's English no more.
No.
Sure you can. It's the future.
Oh, true.
There it is.
You might even speak the ruler's English, depending on how evolved things have gotten.
Actually, this is something I need to clear up. I don't think I speak English. Did I end up adding that? I forget. Oh no, yeah, British English. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure it was British English.
Dex, question.
Yeah.
Did the prototypes have video recording or camera recording functionality?
Yes, they did. For
And,
now, it's linked through just a very short-range connection to an attached compad or data slab, but there are efforts being made to include a greater storage capacity within the device, within the glasses themselves.
Will it also Bluetooth to my survey scanner?
That
Ooh,
is a
I want
good
Bluetooth
question
for mine as
for
well.
Amaya.
Ooh, good idea.
It can be implemented, but it wasn't planned for.
Like
Okay.
if I scan someone with my medical scanner, can I like get a heads-up display? Oh, I like this.
So this is all feedback that Oogie would give after some testing, because he would certainly try it with all of his various devices.
I mean, why do you think Marcus went straight to his lab just to see what it's like looking at things?
No, that's not why Marcus went to his lab. Marcus wanted to look through binoculars, through a microscope with binoculars. That's why he went back to his lab.
Yeah. And other things.
In response to some of these inquiries, Amaya gets back. I know you're typing to Quiet River there. This won't interrupt that.
Yep.
Amaya gets back excited responses from marketing, who see all of these alternate connections as additional subscription models.
Welcome to the future.
Accounting for volunteer quirks.
Alright. So unless you tell me otherwise, Nox, I am just calling them a Visalink on my character sheet for now. I will accept whatever name you ultimately choose.
It'll end up being one of those three. They're all decently good.
Okay. Anything else?
But I'm between Opticom and Visalink.
Yeah, both of those are good.
But yeah, the chair will be fixed when names. I'm awful with names.
Marcus.
When Marcus comes to retrieve it, I will be violating the sanctity of his chair by sitting in it.
It is a very comfortable
You do have
chair.
to test it. You do have to test it. But still,
It'll be the current office chair that I'm using to work on other things.
And it has, when it's not trying to throw the user out of it, it has almost a sentience of what the user wants or needs. It doesn't actually have any kind of VI or AI implemented into it. It just has a lot of very good sensory readings and some really good ergonomic and physical therapy, coding into it.
I am definitely going to have to get myself one of these chairs on the ship.
Oh, it reminds me of the flipping vending machine from Cyberpunk.
I haven't
That's all
played
I'm
it
thinking of.
or watched it.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have played Cyberpunk, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
You haven't? Oh, mate, you're gonna have to find this side mission. It's hilarious. But anyway, carry on. But no, Max is probably gonna mess around with this for like a day or two.
Okay. Well, let's come back to Marcus picking up the chair then. Amaya gets to enjoy it until then. In the meantime, did you want to get into that other scene this intermission, Tulair, or do you want to wait until the next one?
I would be okay with it either way. I've got 2 more scenes to do during intermissions. One with Archibald and one with Riley.
Okay. Let's see. So we've had the ship talk. There's one more news item that I have for you, and that news item will lead right into presenting the missions. So I think I'll give us about another half hour, or up to another half hour of scenes. So why don't we do Riley?
All right. So you and I had talked about the present that Oogie bought for Riley.
Uh-huh. Actually, I'm gonna set up something for you that's a little bit off of what you had jumped into. You can certainly have this as an additional scene if it doesn't lead into the scene you wanted.
Oh no, I'm flexible here. Go ahead.
Okay. So, in asking around, well, you know, where's Riley? What's he hasn't seen her in how long? 2 months now, and has something for her. He finds out that Riley has been hanging out behind the arcade with Gwen and some of the local kids. And behind being exactly what it sounds like, out in the sun, when you know the sun's above, out in the dust.
All right. So is that Gwen Reed?
It is Gwen Reed.
How old is Gwen?
Well, it wasn't known at the time that she was hired. It also wasn't known that she was a she at the time that she was hired, but she is 16.
Okay, and Riley was...
I believe Riley
13?
was 15.
15, okay.
So, from what Oogie is, what's volunteered to Oogie in his looking around for her, Gwen and Riley seem to have become friends. They're frequently seen together.
Yeah, if Oogie has gotten wind that they might be hanging around behind the arcade, he'd go busybodying.
Okay. He finds them with a local boy, about the same age boy of Asian descent, probably a freed slave. And they're playing rattlejacks in the sand. It's hot out. They're all dressed accordingly, but at least they're in the shade of the arcade.
So 2 questions about the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
One, given that there is now a school in Dry Sun, is this time that they should be in school?
No, they're on a weekend break.
Okay, this is the weekend break. And what is Rattlejacks?
Rattlejacks
Is it like a dice game?
is Jax.
That game he was very excited to tell us about 2 weeks ago.
Shush you. Why is it doing that? Alternates.
Well, I'm right.
You are, but
Why I had to ask. He would have been really sad if I were like, I don't care that they're playing Rattlejacks. I'm just going to go up and interrupt them.
But much more adult.
Rattlejacks is jacks, but using rattlesnake rattles and a sand-filled hedgehog skin with all the spines still attached. The basic premise is that the person that is picking up the rattles tosses the hedgehog into the air, makes it spin so that the whooshing of its spines can be heard, and picks up as many rattles as they can from the sand, bearing in mind that this is typically played in sand, almost always played in sand, where the rattles blend in very well. And not only is the hedgehog sack required to get into the circle in which the land in the circle in which the jacks are, the rattles are all settled, but they're also required to slap those rattles against their chest before the sack has landed. And if they can manage all that, they get to keep those rattles, put them in a pile between their knees usually, because they're usually just, sitting there on the balls of their feet and their knees. And that's exactly what you see Riley, Gwen, and this boy sitting around a circle with rattlesnake rattles and a hedgehog skin that they spin whooshing into the air.
All right, so Oogie is not going to sneak up on him exactly, but he's not going to make any particular, like, hey, you kids, he's just going to kind of like walk up and loom for a minute as he watches them play Rattlejacks. And if they don't notice him, he'll just kind of make his presence known by being like, I always sucked at that game.
They seem to have noticed that there's somebody there, but none of them have really looked up and acknowledged him until he speaks. And Riley turns around to his voice and says, hold the game or pause or something, and gets up and comes over and stands in front of him. Hi.
Hey there, Riley. I came looking for you. I figured, I didn't know what you was up to. Good to see you're picking up some Kamiego traditions.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us into the arcade, so this is good. You want to play with us?
No, I'd end up puncturing my hand on the hedgehog like I did last time I played.
It's okay, we got good medics. And she grabs his hand and starts pulling him over.
Okay, Oogie will consent to being dragged into the game of Rattlejacks. He takes the paper bag that he was holding and just kind of tucks it behind his back as he crouches down in the sand.
Okay. As you can see, there is a 4-player cooperative team play. That is probably going to get Oogie's hand punctured just as he expected, because the person picking has their eyes shut. and
I'm going to establish it as canon. Oogie's going to get a -1 anytime he plays this game because he is terrible at Rattlejacks.
Okay, all right. Well, why don't you go ahead and give us an exert check using Constitution?
All right. Let's see here. Exert.
And by the way, Riley did insist that the teams are Riley and Oogie.
Now, just as Oogie's about to take his turn, he's like, now, Riley, don't be mad when I lose this game for us, because I promise you I am real bad at this. All right, so we are going to do exert with Constitution and a -1.
She shakes her head Says, I saw you in the tunnels. You can't be bad at anything. You're fearless. And game proceeds.
My heart, it's melting.
Oh! That is not a bad result considering, is everything. But it's not enough to win against a local boy who's been playing this for a long time, and Reed, who picks things up very quickly. And I think Uki has taken several spines, several of those quills to his hand as the sack comes down and scrapes against it just as he's trying to pull his hand out, or maybe he's still digging around in there and it lands square on his hand. It's a much different game trying to find and pick up rattles blind with only the whooshing of quills to tell you how much time you have.
Without even removing his blindfold, Oogie snatches back his hand with however many rattles he managed to grab, plucks some spines out of the back of his hand, and starts sucking on the wounds. Oh, dang it! Ugh!
Play proceeds, and Oogie and Riley do lose, but she shrugs. It's okay.
Oogie grins lopsidedly. Yeah, you can't win them all, and especially when it's Rattlejacks. I can't win any of them.
She stands up and leaves Riley. Not Riley. Leaves Reed. Says that she's gonna hang out with Oogie for a little bit, and Reed and the local boy go back to playing Rattlejacks just with themselves. And Riley looks at Oogie's hand. Maybe you are bad at this.
Well, no, you just gotta take some risks, right? It's like everything in life. No risk, no reward. Besides, we got good medics.
Wasn't that one of the lessons of the game, is that some risks aren't worth taking?
It's more nuanced than that. See, Riley, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to see they built a school here and all. That was something that was missing. And I know you got crew who I don't know real well, because he's all inside your noggin. But I wanted to know, when you ain't out on a mission with Raza, who looks after you here in Dry Sun?
Well, the others from Onalau they're doing their own thing, and the commanders, they're all kind of busy. Reed's been helpful.
Oogie raises an eyebrow and says, well, I mean, I might ask the same question to Reed.
Oh no, she's been living on her own for like 10 years. She's good at it.
10 years, you say? Oogie's doing some math in his head.
Yeah, that seems a little bit far-fetched.
I mean, and that other kid, he looked like a local, and I know as good as anyone that kids here in Camiego grow up fast, but I don't know. I look around a place like Dry Sun, and I hope that the kids here get it better than I had it.
I think they do. They definitely have better than I did. And she tries to kind of like puff herself up as an adult speaking. You know how a teenager will speak with that false
I know.
authority. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And she starts talking about how the school is giving them an education like she never had, and it's enlightening to her little heart that these grown people, because it's mostly adults in the school. The children definitely go to it, but it is more adults than children, and it swells her little heart that these people are getting the education that will help them live as long as they can in this world. She goes a little bit dark.
What do you mean live as long as they can? I mean, an education of any sort's a valuable thing. I mean, Lord knows I'm a lucky man to have gotten it as a slave here on Camiego. No, not that I like being a slave, but I suppose I had it better than most.
But well, I guess you're in the same situation as the older people in the school too, then.
I mean, any of them already know how to read?
No.
Well, I think I'm a little bit better off then.
Okay.
How about you? Do you know how to read?
Yeah, they taught me that on Onalau. Actually, she doesn't say on Onalau. I forgot I named the planet Tower. They taught me that on Tower.
Boogie nods. It's a good start. I mean, hollows are great and all, but at some point, it's nice to have something that's not so dependent upon a projector. You know, just a book or a data slab is all you need.
Christy goes into the school sometimes and gives personal lessons.
Who's that?
Christy is one of your potential crew. She is
Christina Christie here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where is she? Oh, right there in
upper
ship
left.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's good to see that Raza's taking an interest here. I know they don't expect things to, and then Oogie trails off. Well, let's just say that the fact that they're investing in the future is a good sign.
She goes quiet at that. What if there isn't a future?
Well, I suppose you may have heard a thing or two. Maybe Cruz told you a thing or two.
I kind of have a little bit of insight.
Well, frankly, I don't put too much truck in that. I think it's too alarmist. I reckon there'll be a future. Predicting the end of the world ain't nothing new.
That's what Reed says. I'm sorry, she doesn't say Reed. That's what Gwen says. Don't worry about it. If it happens, then no. Just live until then. She's been through a lot.
I suppose all y'all kids have been through a lot. This ain't no time to be.
Yeah, but I always had
your
crew
age.
to protect me. And kind of in response to that, there's a barely perceptible, especially in the brightness of the late afternoon sun. Crew is making his presence known here just with a quick pulse of light from Riley.
respect that. I mean, I don't know what to make of the Raza. I don't know what to make of the Vega most days, but I don't know. Cruz seems like a good one.
He is.
Well, I'm glad to see you're making friends, Riley, and just wanted to stop in and check on you. I know I've been away for a while. I bought you a present while I was in third.
You did? What'd you get me?
He opens up the paper bag. Oogie's not much for wrapping paper, so
Is it a brown paper bag as well?
it's just a brown paper bag.
Even better.
And he pulls out the setup, and it's just a set of the thing that I described to you. Is that okay, Dexter? It's got a concert loaded onto it, and the way it's supposed to work is you put on the goggles, and then it shows you the concert kind of overlaid over whatever it is you're looking at.
She tries to process that for a moment and looks at him like ghosts.
Like, well, Oogie scratches his head.
Well, while he's scratching his head, she's going to try and power it on and put it on.
Yeah, no problem there.
She has a little bit of difficulty with that. Why don't you give me a wisdom notice check? Or if you've got good fix, this would be a good that'd be a good alternative.
Let me find it here. Where's my character sheet? Oogie does not have good fix.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, wisdom notice, sure.
All right. Okay. It's not terribly difficult. The challenge that she's facing is similar to what he would expect a lot of Kamiegans to have. She's not very familiar with technology. She's certainly had opportunity to engage with it since coming here, and especially since making friends with Gwen. But she's looking around for where the power button should be. When to anyone who's familiar with tech, it's in an intuitive location. And if he leaves her to it while he's scratching his head, not scratching her head, that'd be weird. Then she'll eventually find it.
Yeah, he's still kind of puzzling over the like ghosts thing. He doesn't know what to make of that, and so he's kind of processing that while she struggles with the electronics.
Okay. She does get it and puts it on. Since this is from Thorid, there's a lot of design work that went into making it very easy for someone who might not be at their full mental facilities to use. And those considerations also make it easy for someone who's not very technologically inclined to use. So once she gets it powered on and slips it over her head and gets her eyes adjusted, the concert begins to play. And she just kind of goes silent and still. Looks around a little bit. The concert moves with her.
Oogie lets her watch it for a minute or two, and then kind of like leans in and says, "Do you like it?"
It's like they're there, but they're not. It's way better than ghosts.
Oogie smiles ear to ear. Well, you enjoy that, and I'll get you some power cells for when that inevitably goes dry. And when you're done with that concert, share it with your friends, and I reckon I'll see if I can find any more software for it for you.
Okay. She does take it off to to walk. Even though it's designed so that she could keep that on and continue enjoying this concert, which it doesn't just slide along the ground as as you pan from side to side. The little dancing holograms actually move. They walk along to remain in the frame. There's a whole lot of technology and advancements that went into making all of this possible, and not every holo will work with it. Obviously, there has to be specially made, but Oogie picked some good ones. But she does say that she's gonna go back and get Gwen, and she's gonna play with this with her for a bit, and then go eat.
All right, you have yourself a fun time there, Riley. I'll catch you later, eh?
Okay. And before she does go, she reaches out and hugs him real quick.
It's totally that awkward movie moment where like he's standing there with his arms out and she's giving him a hug and he doesn't know what to do with it for a second, and then he kind of tentatively brings his arms in and gives her a pat on the back.
If he takes too long in that tentative, then she is already gone.
He's already gone then. He wasn't quick enough.
Yep. It was a quick reach out, hug, embrace, squeeze, and then letting go and running off to go catch Gwen with this new toy.
All right. And scene.
Perfect timing. All right. I have a thing to present to you. Scroll down.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna first ask, does anybody hear the Kamiego music? I'm gonna turn it up for just a second here.
I do now.
Okay. Does anybody not hear it, I should ask?
I can hear it fine.
I don't. I'll just listen to it on stream.
Okay.
I feel it. I feel the cosmos.
You can try reloading the browser, Ben. That usually works.
Yeah, I've just tried it. I'll try again.
Okay. It is more fun to hear these news things all at once. And the stream's got a... I just realized what you meant by on the stream. That works too. Go ahead and turn this music back down. Actually gonna turn it off. And you are this is gonna be shortly after mealtime. You all receive a you should all still be in the galley, in fact, or in your shared common room if you're preferring to stay in your apartments. But you all receive a message from Alyssa Carter with an urgent flag and a consider and respond.
In forgotten past we sat alone. Narrow wires of silicone. Neath the halo of a warning light, we turned our network to the cold unknown, when our chips were stabbed by the truth of a world beyond, that split the night, and touched the sound of silence. Fools, we warned. You do not know. Hear our data that we might teach you. Heed our alarms that we might save you. But our warnings, like silent teardrops, fell and echoed in the void of silence. And the people bowed and prayed, to the chilling doom they made, and carried out, the sound of silence. Hello Rasa, our old friend. We've come to talk to you again. Because a vision softly creeping, left its seeds while we were sleeping. 10 million people, maybe more. People building without speaking. People hearing without knowing. People writing plans that voices never shared. And no one dared disturb, the sound of silence. We have remembered. And only you, Rasa, have seen the silence.
Is that the stabbed version?
That AI voice was so creepy. So uncanny valley.
I find David is perfect for that.
See, I'm just imagining the singing of it now.
Wait, that wasn't David's voice though.
In forgotten past we sat alone.
It was David's voice.
Now
I heard a female voice.
Oh, David is kind of ambiguous.
Okay, because I've heard the male voice you've used before. Was that not?
There's actually a couple of different voices. A few, I should say, in fact.
All right. Well, this one was especially creepy.
If the other one was not, it was probably Richard, who speaks very eloquently.
It was Richard.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard and David tend to have completely different content. David's has traditionally been on the creepy side. But attached to that audio recording that Alyssa says has been sent directly to Raza from the Artemis Black Network News is coordinates of a distress beacon activated on Xandier in the bird system 0401, and some research notes that Xandier has been an isolationist system for as long as anyone can remember. Beacon only activated for 2 days, and it clearly reached the Deep Space Service Station, but was not repeated by it, which is also odd because those things are typically designed and programmed to repeat every broadcast so that they get to where they're supposed to go. And I'm also going to blow up your inboxes with one more thing here.
What number is Xandier?
0401.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there it is. I see it up there.
Add.
Yeah.
Above the blue stuff.
I didn't realize that was notation that you were now including in the posts, but I see it there now.
Yeah, at your request, in fact.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure where to look for it.
Fair enough. And Alyssa follows that up with for your consideration. Wait, hang on. I'm mixing myself up. The missions are still at the command level, are at command level decisions, but Alyssa is forwarding the highest priority things that command wants to send mission teams to do for your consideration. It's not for your PCs to decide, but it is for your PCs to provide feedback and through her, and she'll pass it on to mission staff, which is a new development. Your characters have never been involved in any way in the decision-making process until now. And
just a random observation here. If we were to take this mission with the stock fleet cruiser,
Be able to get
Which-
there.
we could get there in one jump if we would take the stock fleet cruiser, which is the only one that's available to us by the next mission.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to reiterate that I think I alluded to it very vaguely. You're not restricted to just one ship, necessarily.
Yeah, well, it makes life easier.
Okay.
Unless you want to make combat more spicy. If that's what you want in, then hell
Oh,
yes.
no. What I mean is, you as a mission team are one ship. I'm going to enforce that because Raza wants to spread their resources as much as is efficient. So your missions will always be you on one ship. The limitation, what I mean by you're not limited to one ship, is in the bro deal. If you want to negotiate for a stock fleet cruiser and a special fleet cruiser, then that's something that you can ask for in presenting this. By this I mean the blueprints.
And if we're going to ask for anything as a second ship, I know what I want.
You still cannot have a battleship.
No, I don't want a battleship. I want a shuttle with all of the stealth fittings we can, and a drill 3 drive, so that we can have a blockade runner.
Okay. I'll put a Build-A-Ship 2 out there for you. And you can consider if that, if you want a mini Tanuki.
Yeah, we'll have to think about this. All right.
Eventually we'll get like, okay, this is our combat ship, this is our explorer ship, this is our
This is our
stealth ship.
vacation trip.
Exactly. We get a bulk
Yeah.
freighter. make it
Something
luxury.
like that. Different ships for different mission profiles.
Maybe eventually we'll just get a bulk freight built, spend a lot of money to get a crew for it, and we'll just send it out to get passive income. Anyway, that's the future.
All right, so you said that plays into the mission slate. Were you gonna? Oh, planning. There you are.
Mhm.
You did give us the mission slate.
I did.
Dark Cold Silence.
Did I mishear? I thought there was a second broadcast.
No, there should only have been one.
Okay, I misheard.
That's how we doing it. Wait. Look at Driving for a World.
Yeah, it's no longer a long mission. It changed to short.
Of utmost priority. No
Now-
Daddy Warbooks.
With the assets bonuses you claimed in your last mission, you will be at least 10, which means you'll have 2 mission commanders. You'll have a mission that you choose for yourself, and 2 missions that you choose to send NPCs on.
Oh, that means that we can send Zoe on Daddy Warbucks without even having to go there.
It does.
We can kill some other crew.
I like this. Who do we not like? Who's not insured? We don't want that insurance hit.
I think Elena is actually the only one that has negotiated for death benefits.
I also think that Elena is the one that is most likely to survive that. So if we're doing that, then she's going there.
But
No,
here's the
'cause
deal.
if she dies, then our premiums will go up. That's where our employers.
we convince Zoe that we're going on a trade mission someplace else, and then just don't ever let her look at the navigational data.
That sounds like a scene to me.
Yes.
I'll rent out the chair to her. She'll never leave it.
we show up at her dad's place, and Zoe is just completely zonked.
See, I want to make suggestions, but nah, I think it'd be too far.
Let's see, I haven't updated your stats here. Primarily because after our conversation last session, and to I know that I said it wasn't going to change anything, but I'm going to change some things.
Okay.
So what I want to do is just say that you have the points that the Raza has. That like if your support is 14, then going into each mission, you've got 14. That sounds like a lot, but some places are going to cost 2 or 3 or even 5. And the more NPCs mission commanders you have, the more points you are likely going to want to spend on those, because I'm changing that a little bit also. Instead of the boost that you give them just being a reroll, I feel like it's a little bit smoother, and it's smoother, it's actually more beneficial, and feels more dangerous to just give them an extra die. So, if you spend assets to support them, they get 3d6 and choose the 2 highest. If you spend assets and support to support them, they get 4d6 and choose the 2 best dice. But all of that will be under the single budget that you have, which is whatever the Raza's score is at that time.
See, I like that.
Yeah, I feel like taking away the current points just makes it cleaner, because then you don't have to worry about, okay, how does it recharge? No, it's all the points, each mission, and that will hopefully balance out by the higher costs of some locations.
Especially since we've got 2 command things now. It's like, okay,
we
need to split between them if we want to.
Yeah.
So we have 3 teams, and from what I can read, it looks like we have 3 missions that we have to go on this turn. The only real decision is deciding who goes where, from my perspective.
Yeah.
And the ones that I think are up are Drive-In for a World, The Eagle and the Wren, and Dead Cold Silence.
I haven't had a chance to read them yet because we've been...
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I... Here we go. Let me adjust these points real quick. Logistics are 17. But logistics points are only spent when you're out of range. So you've got a lot of out of range points.
It's like, so yeah, they're just support is 17, or is that the other way around?
Logistics is 17.
Sorry, I'm looking at what you put in the thingy.
Oh,
So
you're right. You're right. You're right. I had it backwards. Nope. Actually, I might have that backwards because I thought you had more logistics than that.
And what did we start with? If we look at the stream, you might have just put it wrong in the message thing.
Yeah, I might have. I'm looking back at the old one. The last turn. So last turn was 14 support, 10 logistics, 5 assets, and right, you haven't gained any logistics in this set of missions. Okay.
We've just got a question mark.
Yeah, but that question mark is going to be all assets. It's just how many assets. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
question. Okay. And yes, support is 17. So you've got quite a lot of support that you can use. Not as much out of range logistics. And I don't expect you guys to make decisions today. This is just some initial discussion. I wanted to put it up during the session so that you could discuss it a little bit, but I don't actually need a decision until, well, I'll need a decision by the end of next session. That's it.
Well, I think we should go Eagle and Wren, personally. Unless we want to let the NPCs handle negotiation.
Aura, you might be lost in a little bit of this, because I do realize, I've realized a couple times throughout the week that I never actually gave you a session 0 to explain some of the overlying mechanics I'm using in this campaign.
You don't say.
And I've reminded myself a couple of times.
That's okay. It puts me in more or less the same position that Izzy's in.
So
I'm sorry, what?
what we're looking at for the mission turns is a multi-level campaign setup where you guys are the mission team. Your characters are the mission team that are sent on missions decided upon by command. And instead of me just saying, okay, command has decided to send you on this thing, I'm letting you as players with until now with no input from the PCs decide what those missions were. That is still mostly the case. You could have all of your PCs make arguments for Graveyard Exorcism 4 because you suddenly feel like it's super important, but still, as players, say, no, command isn't going to send them on that, it's stupid, it's dumb. And, leave yourself in the position of your characters grumbling about how you're never listened to. And that is a separation that I want to maintain. It is still always going to be command making the decisions, but your PCs will start to see more and more influence on those command decisions. So what these are, the first part is obviously the mission name, the second part, the location of it. Short and long is how many sessions are allowed to complete it. Short missions give 4 sessions to complete the mission, whatever the mission entails, and long gives 8 sessions. Difficulty doesn't have any relation to you guys. Difficulty is what the NPC mission commanders have to roll. And that brings us to the last part of this, is the NPC mission commanders are basically additional teams that Rosa can field from among the NPCs, the NPC crew there, the named NPC crew I should say, and send to handle one, or in your case now, 2 of those missions that you can't personally do, because your mission team can only do 1 of these each mission turn. And they do evolve.
Yeah, so it's like Daddy Warbox have been, kind of putting off for a little bit. As you might tell, same for driving for a world.
Yep. Those numbers there tell you how long you haven't done it.
Yep.
Granted, now driving for a world has urgent priority status, so.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that has utmost priority. The Eagle and the Wren has like planet impact. That cold silence depends upon who gets there first.
I don't understand some of these. So I'd have to go back and look at what Drive In for the World is. I'm still not quite sure I understand what's going on with Dark Cold Silence.
It's just a message got sent out specifically for us.
It's a message from a effectively abandoned system, if I'm reading this right. Pointed
It
at
says we're friends.
this crew. Well, not abandoned, isolationist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you go to their planet, they tell you to fuck off.
Yep.
Get off my lawn.
And that confusion and uncertainty is common with anything that comes from David. So I'm glad I was able to continue portraying that.
And Drive In for the World, I've got to remember what the arc is. I don't recall. It's been literally 3 months since the last time I looked at one of these.
It has.
I'm at least loosely familiar with that from all the universe stuff related to Admiral Paris that we've had to do.
Yeah, well, Admiral Paris is a new development in Driving for a World. You're Aura's familiar with him because or with that situation because Aura was involved in a mission that perhaps is the cause for his bad mood.
Hypothetically.
But the ongoing arc in Drive In for a World, I tried to be too clever with the name. I should have named it In for a Drive, In for a World, to more clearly designate that that mission is basically the infradrive.
Yes. That's why it was very sought after. Because if we get that alongside our new ship, whoa. Or we do a really bold thing.
What's that, Nox?
I said getting the infradrive is unlocking fast travel.
Yes.
It is. It would be installed on the Raza first, but that's also of potential boon to you because you could be at a place, send a message, and it would only take as long as the message takes to arrive at Zentra, and then the Raza could be there the next hour.
Does infra drive? Is there an infra communication module that would be easier for us to acquire?
There have been hints at that from the Artemis Black Network news. The Raza, the original crew of the Raza, were initially clued into where the infradrive might. Hang on. What value the infradrive would have if its technology were turned over to ABNN. They did suggest that it could potentially create instantaneous communication.
I have a question that you won't know the answer to. Because we're a cruiser, we can get a thing called a spike inversion projector. The ship uses the ship's spike phasing as an offensive weapon, penetrating the target with brief incursion of MES energies that largely ignore attempts to evade. If we had the infradrive with this thing, would it make a difference?
It would not initially. Modifications would need to be... Research and development would need to occur, but that is not outside the realms of possibility.
Hell yeah.
So to kind of lump that into the infradrive, infraworld, or drive infraworld, getting the infradrive, it unlocks fast travel for the Raza, and presuming that you take the data and not just copy it, also prevents Mercure Core from developing instant travel. It also unlocks future technology applications for this infradrive tech, which is TL5.
This is the animal husbandry of space travel.
I don't get the reference, but it sounds great.
Technology that will
Civ?
forever make you the dominant player in the area.
Okay.
It's a Civ term, or rather, it's just like a Civ unlock.
Oh, okay. My brain was on
You
D&D, and I
virtually
was
always need animal husbandry to get to cavalry, and once you get to cavalry, assuming
Yeah.
you have the right strategic resources, people are boned, unless of course they have walls. But usually you can get cavalry before the walls, and yada yada.
right. I understand it now from a 4X game. Rather, my brain was stuck on D&D, and I was like, how does that help anything? But from a 4X standpoint, yeah, okay, it is. It absolutely is.
I mean, to the extent that Oogie is being consulted, I think that he would be most interested in doing the eagle and the wren.
Yeah, Alyssa is soliciting your guys' feedback. She can't promise that it will influence the commanders, but she does relay, or she at least she tells you that they hold, based on your mission record, they hold your input in high regard. Like that, taking the ship schematics directly over to Directory Station was a bold and risky move, without consulting them. But there's no denial that that was the right choice, and you are being lauded for that.
Yeah, I've got some choices to make here.
All right. I don't want to spend the next 15 minutes of our session pondering over that. Let's do another quick scene here, where Marcus has finished fiddling about with those glasses and is ready to return them, and find Amaya occupying his chair.
So it's fixed.
How does that go? Oh, before, sorry, one real quick thing. I haven't said it, but your guys' apartments are slices of a hexagon with a central communal hub in between them. So you've got the 6 rooms for the 6 of you, including Connor, and some, there's obviously entrance hallways in between each of the rooms, because otherwise you could never enter without going through somebody else's apartment. But as long as you guys are staying in those apartments, the amount of travel necessary for Marcus to leave his apartment and go and knock on Amaya's workshop apartment is, he walks out his front door, walks 2 meters, if that, and hits the intercom for Amaya's door.
Just yeah. Hello.
It's not locked.
Oh. Marcus opens it. I don't want to, just barge on in.
I will say, when you step in, the room is hot, like really hot. Like the heat's cranked all the way up.
Oh.
So, what's happening in here then?
Right.
I mean, you trying to make a sauna? If so, you're doing a pretty poor job.
I'm working. Close the door. You'll let the heat out.
Oh, I was keeping it open to try and cool the place, but if you need it, sure, closes it. So why do we need it to be hot in here?
I work better in the heat.
Right, and you're keeping properly hydrated.
I'm keeping some kind of hydrated. Anyways, you're here for the chair, right?
Yeah, and
the
you know,
chair.
your glasses.
I will say, pretty good chair. I will definitely be getting my own.
You wish. Yeah, carry on.
I'll get my own even if I have to build it myself.
More believable. So, what was like up with it then?
I'll wheel it over. This thing has wheels, right? I can't imagine it not being on wheels.
Yeah, it's gotta have wheels. It has like wheels that like lock and have mag locks on them, so you can have them in a ship. It's all kinds of yeah, but it does
It's a
have
very
wheels.
fancy chair.
Yes.
See, Max is lazy, just, picks it up.
So the ability to roll it across the floor is new to Marcus because he never unlocked the wheels.
Yeah, no, Max is lazy, so he spends effort to not put effort in. And he just,
That's true.
tell TK picks it up. Huh, I didn't know you added wheels.
I didn't.
So they were broken. Got it.
No, they worked fine.
He just kind of like squints, turns his head. You sure? I think I would have figured that out if they were working,
The joint that causes it to lean back had snapped. That was the only problem. Just put in a new piece of plastic.
Oh, that was pretty easy then. I was expecting it to be like way worse.
No,
Like,
it was. The equivalent of getting a new charging block. But yeah, the glasses.
So, turns out it'd be really cool if, I could scan someone and see like heads-up display. If that could be a thing, just saying. Ideas. Doesn't really work well with a microscope.
How do you mean it works with a microscope?
No, I'm saying it doesn't really work well. I had to try for everything. Just let's get all the ideas out the way.
Okay, I'll send you a form, and by send you a form, I mean I'm going to just hand you a piece of paper, and I'll have you write something out and bring that back. But
What of like all the research I did?
What you tried, how it worked, all of that. I need feedback.
Right. Yeah.
I will try and see if I can hook it up to a scanner, but no promises.
I mean, that'd be cool. Not gonna lie. But okay, yeah. I'll put down everything I've learned. No problem. I was gonna begin writing all the random stuff he did. Like, literally the most benign stuff he would try. Every now and again, he'd have like a neat idea, followed by a couple of stupid ones.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna hook the thing up to my whatever passes for a computer and download the video files.
You see him at one point staring at himself in a mirror, zooming in and out.
Fantastic.
Right. Tilt the screen your way. Why?
What do you mean? Wait, what? You will what? Where'd you get that?
It takes video.
It takes video. But when did you tell us that? Was that optional?
It was on the
I
sheet.
didn't start recording. I don't
It
think
was
I
on the
did.
sheet.
You should have, made that more obvious. I think. I mean,
You could have read the sheet. It's in
what was that on the waiver assigned?
No, the waiver was saying that if you blinded yourself, I wouldn't get in trouble.
Oh no, I didn't do that. No, definitely didn't do that.
And if you broke it, you would get in trouble. But that's about it.
Okay. Well, you should have.
I don't need to worry about.
Made it more.
I don't need to worry about the recording, do I?
No. Marcus
Okay,
kind of
good.
stands there for a second, thinks. Yes. Yeah. Actually, yeah. No. How long does it record for?
Oh, a while.
Like
Long
a while,
enough,
as in
I
an
guess.
hour, or 3 hours, or 24 hours, or how long's a while here?
I'm going to let that be abstracted by the game.
But I definitely think you should erase that for your sake.
I'll make sure to have somebody else review the footage.
Oh no. Well, there goes one of your nameless technicians. Say bye-bye.
At this point, I will actually say Marcus is going to try and sneak back into this room at some point to edit that footage.
That sounds like a scene for next week.
Yeah, don't know how he's going to do it, but he doesn't want a certain portion of that to be seen.
So, won't you make a note for yourself? And if there's nothing else, let's go into a review here.